Hey there, everyone. It is Halloween, and we are here. It is a sports dream. Ryan Thompson, alongside Joe Sapienza.
Hello.
And we are ready to go. Let's dive right in.
Let's do it.
Let's start with football. The Giants are a mess. The Jets are a mess. New York football is a mess. But not for nothing, though. The Giants' offense looks pretty good.
They had a better defense. They'd have more wins.
Yeah, they'd have more wins if they had a better defense, absolutely. Because, Daniel Jones, again, I keep saying it. I've said it 15 times in the last 2 months. I'm going to keep saying it. He surprised me. He's looked good. Despite, everybody just going off on them for drafting him 6th overall. He's done well. He threw, 3 or 4 touchdown passes against the Lions on Sunday. But when your defense is giving up 31 points, you're not going to win.
It's not only they're giving up 31 points, they're giving up 31 points to the Lions. 27 points to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Good teams,
but
don't let that happen.
Yeah, you can't let that happen to those offenses, though. And
Kyler Murray, Matt Stafford. No disrespect to Matt Stafford,
but yeah, you gotta get some stops.
You can't get 1 or 2 stops.
Yeah, okay, all Giants fans, I'm sure, already know this, already very aware of what happened end of the game Sunday. 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they were 3rd and 11, down on within 15 yards of the end zone. 2 non-calls by the refs that we're not really going to go into. It is what it is, but nonetheless, if your defense is giving up 31 points, you're not going to win.
You're not put in a good position to win the football game, and that's the bottom line. It's a shame because the Eagles and Cowboys haven't played much better.
Exactly. And then, flip side of New York, the Jets are, I don't even know. They're a complete wreck right now. They traded Leonard Williams, defensive lineman, to the Giants.
For a 3rd and 5th round pick.
Which doesn't
make
much sense for really either team at the present time. All right, Leonard Williams is a good future piece for the Giants, because I did just see earlier that he would be open to re-signing with the Giants as opposed to going into free agency. But especially for the Jets, it doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense unless they thought they weren't going to be able to keep him.
My initial instinct thought when I saw Leonard Williams was traded, you look up where the Jets are now as a team, right? And as a whole. They're 1-6. Okay? They're not making the playoffs.
No.
I don't even think they'll win 2 more games for the rest of the season. All right? So they'll finish 3-13.
Yeah.
Why not just trade everybody? Or here's the thing, if you're going to trade one guy, you got to ship everybody out and commit to a rebuild. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're already in a rebuild, though.
But the bottom line is, if you're trading anyone to begin with, clearly whatever plan they thought they organized is not working. And that's the bottom line. They're in the middle right now because they still have Le'Veon Bell. They still have Jamal Adams. But they traded away Leonard. It doesn't make sense. If you want to commit to these guys, keep everybody.
Yeah.
Keep building within the draft. It
doesn't make any sense.
They're so discombobulated. I don't know what to say.
Especially if you think about the fact Jamal Adams might not be there next season either. Because
I wouldn't blame him.
Who
would want to be there?
Well, that's the thing. Jamal Adams wants to be there. It's just the fact that are they going to be able to pay him or whatever the deal is? He told the general manager that he wants to be with the Jets, and then the whole situation came out with the Jets general manager going behind his back and supposedly shopping him. Yes, he listened to offers. Was anything actually going to happen? We don't know.
We don't know.
The Cowboys offered a first-round pick for him. The Jets said, we want more. And as a Cowboys fan, thank the holy Lord that Jerry Jones said no, because giving up that kind of capital is just
ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous.
Okay, yeah, for Jamal Adams, he's great. Could that have put them over the edge this season and put them into Super Bowl contention? Maybe. But is it worth? They wanted Jalen Ramsey price, 2 first-round picks. That's just...
If the Cowboys would have made that deal, I think that definitely puts them in a position where they could make a run in the postseason, where they could potentially go to the Super Bowl. But then they're screwed for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have a first-round pick this year because they traded it to Oakland, and then 2 more first. Come on now.
You got guys that are over your
somebody.
franchise.
Yeah, because somebody's going to be leaving in free agency. They still got Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, and Byron Jones that need contracts. I don't think they're going to be able to pay all 3 of them. So they need these draft picks. As much as, the Jets would have loved to get that much, it just wasn't going to happen.
It wasn't going to happen. And it wouldn't have made any sense.
No.
Trading away your best player, the player you're trying to build around.
Yeah.
You're trying. You start with Jamal Adams as your base, as your structure. You start with Sam Darnold, Le'Veon Bell, and Jamal Adams on the defensive side of the football as your base, as your structure. And then you work your way up.
Yeah.
You can't. If you demolish your base, then you're really screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't know what you're going to get out of a first-round pick.
Yeah. Sometimes we've seen busts before. Many times.
The last 8 first-round picks that the New York Jets, obviously besides Sam Darnold, that they have drafted aren't on the team anymore.
Really?
They're either cut, traded away, or retired. Guys like D. Milner.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right.
There was a list on Twitter. I could pull it up later, but it was absolutely ridiculous, and it puts things in perspective as to how dysfunctional this organization is, man.
Yep.
That's it. That's all I say.
All right. Well, moving on from football here, we got basketball is back in full swing. Obviously not high expectations for the Knicks this year. They're definitely deep in a rebuild, but RJ Barrett, man,
look out for him.
Look out for RJ. Look out for RJ Barrett. He will be starting at point guard in their next game. I saw that online earlier. He is looking good.
He stays healthy.
He is going to be a big piece for them to build around in the future.
Sign some free agents, man.
Yeah, get a couple more guys through the draft. Sign a couple of free agents once that does happen.
They'll be in good shape.
They'll be in good shape, and I think they'll be able to turn things around pretty soon.
The Garden will be rocking, hopefully soon, within the next couple of years.
It definitely, so far, small sample size. What have they played? 4 games, 5 games so far this year?
Knicks are 1-3.
So it's a very small sample size, but from that very small sample size,
he's been consistent.
RJ Barrett looks like he's going to be a force for the Knicks. Nets, on the other hand, same thing. They're 1-3 right now. But at the same time, outside of Wednesday night's loss last night to the Pacers, they lost what was it, 1 or 2 points opening night to the Timberwolves in overtime. They lost a
couple heartbreakers.
1-point heartbreaker at the buzzer
Jay Crowder
to the Grizzlies. So overall, things haven't been terrible. Kyrie Irving has looked great.
I think they've had some tough luck.
What they really need to do is play better on defense, get more stops, and stop turning the ball over so much.
That's what I was just about to touch on. I saw my roommates, they're big Nets fans.
Yeah.
Mike Abazia, A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, 2 of my roommates. Huge Net fans. They told me that the team collectively had 26 turnovers the other night. Was that true?
Yeah, 20 last night.
I talking to you about that?
Yeah, just before we were mentioning it was 20 last night to the Pacers 9.
Like, that can't happen.
You can't, yeah.
That can't happen.
You're not going to win
That's
like that.
That's not execution. You're not even playing basketball at that point.
I know.
You're just sloppy.
Yeah.
You can't be sloppy. I understand it's the very beginning, and they're still getting their feet wet, trying to learn how to be cohesive and play together.
Yeah, especially with Kyrie being new to the team.
Yeah, right.
And a lot of new pieces, honestly.
It's very early, and they're still trying to play together and learn how each player likes their spots on the court. You know? And just to learn each other, like in the locker room, chemistry wise. There's a lot that needs to happen. Because, again, 4 games.
Yeah, it's not much, and obviously now, they're 1-3, and of course,
there's still time.
Here comes the media. Oh, Kyrie Irving at it again. Bad locker room presence, mood swings, this and that. Like, give the guy a freaking break. Let's be real here. Like, everybody goes through mood swings. Everybody's moody. They're 1-3. It's early on in the season. He's just getting to know, the system, his teammates, this, that, and the other thing.
It's not a good sign, though.
Give the guy a friggin' break, though.
Listen, I agree with you. But whenever Kyrie is on his own, for whatever reason, besides for LeBron James, because obviously he wasn't on his own there, and Kevin Love was there too. They won it all that year in 2016. But when he first started in Cleveland, pre-LeBron James, they were obviously awful, but there wasn't much talent on the roster.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we look at when he was with Boston. There was talent on the roster with Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
Jason Tatum.
But they didn't produce. They had very, especially last year with Gordon Hayward coming back from that injury, he was awful.
I'm just saying there's no reason for this Nets team to not win 48 to 51 games this season. Because let me tell you, I thought last year they had a great team with D'Angelo Russell.
I did too.
I loved watching them play together. Because it was not only Russell, it was LeVert.
Yep.
It was Harris. It was
Dinwiddie,
Allen. It was Dinwiddie.
It was all of them.
Because it wasn't just one guy.
Yeah.
It was a collective unit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't have one. I mean, I guess D'Angelo was their superstar. But he was, like, up and coming, if that makes sense. Like, he just broke into the league. And now you have an established star like Kyrie Irving. And he's going to want the ball.
Yeah.
And he's going to want things to go his way. And if that doesn't happen, then it's going to create issues. What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, they're going to have to figure something out. Because, I mean, they've been getting contributions from other people. LeVert's had a couple 20-point games this year. Dinwiddie's had a 20-point game this year. Joe Harris is still shooting the ball well. I think it's just, it's early in the season and they got to hit their stride. Again, they're scoring points offensively. They haven't had a single game yet this year where they've scored less than 100 points.
Which is good, which is a good sign. It's just, for these players, they've never played with a guy and with the talent like Kyrie Irving. Because top 10 player in the league.
Yeah. But again, I think it's just they need to cut down on the turnovers and they need to play better on defense. That's what it's going to come down to.
I'll tell you what, as we said, it's only been 4 games for the Knicks and Nets. We'll see more of R.J. Barrett. Hopefully we'll see Kyrie Irving and the Nets just flat out play better.
Yeah.
As a team, because 1-3 is not a good start.
It's not. But on to the next subject. It's hockey time. Hockey is in full swing. Getting down to the end of October, end of the first month of hockey. Rangers are kind of right around, I think, where most people thought they were going to be. They're... Oh, crap, I can't even remember now. They got 4 wins on the year. They're 4-5-1. And, I mean, it's just... They got a lot of young talent. They got a lot of young guys, especially on the back end, on the defensive end. And it's going to be a process. They're in the middle of rebuilding. But they did get a very good, huge win against the Tampa Bay Lightning on Tuesday night. And I think they're on the right track. Yeah, they're 4-5-1 on the season. But, the thing with them is, I don't know what it is, if it's just me, but I just feel like, and I really hate to say this, I don't want to say it, but I feel like Henrik Lundqvist's time in New York is over. Because I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like...
Has he been starting every game?
No, not every game. He has not. Also, their schedule's been very funky with those first couple weeks where they had a lot of days off. But the last couple games that I've watched...
They were on a huge losing streak.
Yeah, the last couple games that I watched, especially Tuesday night against Tampa Bay as opposed to the game before against Boston.
Boston's just flat out good, though. You know what I mean? They're...
True. But the thing I've seen, and again, I hate to say it because it's Henrik Lundqvist. He's been so great for so long, and I love Henrik Lundqvist. I'm a diehard Rangers fan. But just watching these games and watching and seeing what I think is such a huge difference in the way the defensemen and the forwards play when Lundqvist is in the goal as opposed to when the backup and Alexander Georgiev is in the goal, it just, like, it baffles me that when Lundqvist is in the goal, something just seems to, like, click off. And they just, like, the effort isn't there. They're slow. They're lethargic. They're sloppy. And they're not playing well. But then when Georgiev's in the goal, that energy seems to be up. They seem to be playing better, making better passes, and putting in more effort.
Well, let's take a look at this, because we have the Rangers' schedule up here, and we have 1, 2, 3. Was this 5 games in a row they lost? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, right? And then 6 out of the last 8 games they've lost. Okay, who has been in the goal? Because I'm not a Rangers fan. For those of you who don't know, but has it switched off from Lundqvist to the backup, back to Lundqvist? Like, do you know how they do it? Because obviously you would know more than me.
I don't exactly remember. I'd have to look a little bit more, but I can tell you this.
Wow.
Stats.
Goals. Oh, my.
Georgiev, as opposed to Lundqvist, is giving up about a goal less per game right now.
Which is a shame.
And it is.
But Lundqvist, he's getting older. Listen, I can respect greatness. I hate the Yankees. I respect Derek Jeter. I'm not a Ranger fan, but I can respect the greatness. Because Henrik Lundqvist represents the New York Rangers. You know what I mean? He embodies everything the Rangers are to New York City, to the fans, to Madison Square Garden. He's all of that.
Yep. But at the same time, it just, to me, like I said, watching the game seems like whenever Georgiev's in goal, something. But what I think could attribute to that is the fact that the Rangers have such a young team, especially on defense, with guys like Brady Shea, Libor Hayek.
They're young,
and guys, and a few other guys, up front, like a Pavel Buchnevich, guys that, not all of them, but a few guys, some of the younger ones, that played in Hartford and came through the system with Georgiev. So they might have a little bit more of a rapport and a relationship with him as opposed to Lundqvist.
Better chemistry.
Because they know him better. So maybe it's just something with that. And again, it could all just be in my head. I don't know. But after watching that game Tuesday night against the Lightning with Georgiev in goal, and granted, again, this is after they got completely and utterly embarrassed by Boston.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Georgiev, Lundqvist, Georgiev.
Well, Georgiev came into in the third period against Boston because Lundqvist got hurt. But still, and again, they got embarrassed. David Quinn came out, called out the players. Lundqvist came out and called out the guys. And they came out against Tampa Bay and were just like, all right, let's rev up the engines. Let's hit, high gear and let's go. And they went. But I don't know.
They're a young team, man.
They're a young team.
They
got a lot of talent, and it's going to take time.
And as they say in Philly, you got to trust the process.
And not for nothing, I could see them maybe sneaking into a wild card spot this year.
They can.
They have the talent to do it.
Still a lot of games left to be played. It's still very early.
Very early.
Very
it's only a month into the season. We got a long time to go.
4-5-1. The Rangers sit, and what are they? The 7th. They're currently
7th in the Metro Division.
7th. Right
but again, they get on a little 5-game win streak.
Things change so fast.
Things can change so quickly. They're at 9 points right now. They go on. They win three more games in a row. That's another 9 points. They're at 18.
We'll see them come into their own soon, hopefully this season.
Yeah. And
still plenty of time. No
flip side of New York, hockey-wise, we got your guys, the Islanders, 8-3 so far this year.
They've been playing very well. They've won 7 consecutive games, and I'll tell you what, it all goes back because here's the deal. It's the same Islanders team from last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean? Like Brock Nelson, Johnny Boychuk. Who else do we have here? Then we got Barzal, Casey Cizikas. He's out right now. Let's see.
Leo Komarov, he's good.
Komarov.
He's older, but still,
Andrew Ladd, Matt Martin, Anders Lee, Josh Bailey, all the same boys.
Yep. Clutterbuck, Eberle. Yep.
There's Johnny Boychuk, Nick Leddy, Scott Mayfield, Thomas Greiss.
Oh, and Varlamov.
So I think they've been playing great. But the reason why they've been playing great, and this is totally my opinion, they score quick and they score often. And that translates to wins because once you're up 1-0, 2-0,
that gets the other team on their heels
and
a little bit.
It demoralizes the team. Knowing they got to play quick.
They got to play quick and try and come back. Yeah.
And they got to force passes. Consistently putting pressure on the other team is why the Islanders have won 7 consecutive games.
All right. Well, there we have it for this week. Let's get into the next part of it. It is time for the Dream New York Giants edition. Now, obviously, the way I see it,
they're a mess.
Halfway. I agree with that halfway. Again, Cowboys fan, but at the same time, I'm a sports fan. I can step back. I can look objectively. What they have offensively, they have Daniel Jones. They have Saquon Barkley. The offensive line, as far as I know, has been playing better this season. I would have to look into it a little bit. But what they need on offense, they need the offensive line to settle in a little bit, which, again, I think they have been playing a little better. And they need receivers. They have Golden Tate, who I had forgotten was suspended for the first 6 games of this year. He's a solid receiver. They've
lost 4 straight.
Yeah, it's Sterling Shepard who's hurt right now. They need some depth at receiver on offense, and they'll be offensively they're okay. The problem is defensively. And what they really need to do to start there, they need secondary help.
Well, this is what I'm going to do. Because I do agree with you, the defense is atrocious.
It's atrocious.
There's no doubt about that. But we take a look at the schedule. Week 1, they lost 35-17 to the Dallas Cowboys, okay? There was no... Eli was still in a quarterback at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
He played the first couple games.
Right. Lost to Buffalo. So they were going to start out 0-2 regardless if it was going to be Jones or Eli, okay? But then when you get into it, they came back. Daniel Jones led them against the Bucs, 32-31. Defeated Washington the next week, 24-3.
Washington's atrocious.
2-game win streak. But then you see they came across 4 consecutive losses.
Yeah.
And we take a look at them. They lost at home against the Minnesota Vikings, and they lost in Foxborough
to the
Patriots.
Those are 2 games that
you're not going to win.
No, not at all.
That you're not going to win. So with that being said, you take a look at the next 2 games against Arizona and Detroit. 2 games that if you're a team competing for a wild card or competing to try and sneak your way into the playoffs,
you got to win.
You got to win.
And giving up 27 to the Cardinals and 31.
We said it before. It can't happen.
Can't happen.
It can't happen.
And it all starts with the defense. All right, we mentioned before, they traded for Leonard Williams. That's a piece on the defensive line.
But he's a piece. You don't build around Leonard Williams. You get pieces around him.
Yeah. And they got a long way to go on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, to start things off, too, in the offseason, what did they do? They traded away Olivier Vernon, who was their sack leader from last season. They
tried to get something for him. I don't know if it panned out.
I don't think it did.
I think
they got an offensive lineman. So, but you know what? Let's just see here if we can see some stats from this game. And
again, they were down 14-0 right away.
Yeah.
And they were down early against Arizona, too. They got to Because once you score first, you put pressure on the opposition.
Yeah. All right, so 3 sacks, 4 sacks?
Yeah.
For the Giants, 3 sacks. That's not terrible. Could be better.
4 for Detroit.
But, so, okay, they need to work on the offensive line. We know that. They do have a couple young guys there that might still be, breaking in. But it starts with the defense, first and foremost. They need defensive line, they need linebackers, and they need secondary. It's atrocious. And
it's hard to believe they won 4 preseason games, too.
Well, yeah, that's preseason, though. And let's look at this here. A 2020 mock draft has the Giants with the number 1 pick.
Safety.
Taking safety Grant Delpit out of LSU, which, you know what? I think would be perfect for the Giants at that spot, unless there's somebody else that, maybe a defensive end that you are in love with or a linebacker that you are Point is, they need defense, but at the same time, whichever position you choose has to be a player you are in love with. And here they're talking about Giants defense, an abomination. They need help everywhere, including safety, obviously. And this is the biggest thing off of WalterFootball.com. They'll need to replace Landon Collins in order to improve their horrible pass defense.
Their pass defense
which is 100%, in my opinion, 100% true.
When you're giving up all these yards to guys like Matt Stafford, because Stafford loves to throw. That's how the Lions win. When the Lions are rolling...
Oh, Stafford is a gunslinger.
Stafford, he lets it fly, man. I have respect for Stafford. He could play.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the secondary that the New York Giants have right now, DeAndre Baker, I think, I believe he's a safety. My buddy, again, big Giants fan, he always talks about him. We're looking it up right now. The point is, the secondary needs to be improved upon for the Giants to at least have a chance next year. DeAndre Baker.
All right, I forgot about Jabril Peppers, still a young guy. Pair him with another safety, that could be good.
There's Leonard Williams.
Yeah, Leonard Williams is in there. Alec Ogletree is good, but you got nobody, beside him. Janoris Jenkins is just past his prime, if he ever really had an amazing prime in his career. Antoine Bethea, he's old.
These guys aren't getting any younger.
No. You need young guys. You need to, again, pair Jabril Peppers. Bring in Delpit. There's your back end right there.
There you go.
That's something I would be able to get behind. 2 young guys that can play.
And then maybe, say if you throw in Delpit to this year's Giants team, maybe 1 or 2 players on the defensive side is the difference maker from 2 losses against Arizona and Detroit to potentially 2 wins.
Yeah, or at least
one. At least one.
At least one. Because look at these guys, dude. Giants fans even entirely know who Marcus Golden is, or Lorenzo Carter. Obviously, again, I'm not a Giants fan. I've never heard of these guys.
We wouldn't know.
But again, Alec Ogletree is a name that I've heard of. He's a good player.
He's good. He's good player.
Jabril Peppers, still young. They got him from Cleveland. He's up and coming. But they need some serious help. And again, you're looking at Golden Tate at wide receiver, Sterling Shepard coming back from injury. Darius Slayton was that, good receiver.
He made a nice play, a couple nice plays. I mean, a couple nice throws by Daniel Jones, too, in the end zone. A couple nice catches, though. He hasn't looked bad.
So, that's there. Maybe they could use, one more guy that's maybe a little bit more standout as a number 1 than Golden Tate.
He's got an ugly name. Darius Slayton. Ugly.
Evan Engram, good tight end, but again, he's been around for a while already. And then again...
Soldier? Wasn't he on the Patriots?
Yeah. Nate Solder getting older. He's 31, getting a little bit past the prime of his career. You just need to figure out that offensive line a little bit. And like I said, safety, cornerback, and linebackers is what they need. They need somebody, at least one other person next to Alec Ogletree, because he can't do it all on his own. And if the defensive line isn't helping, what's he going to do?
All these guys are young.
Yeah, a lot of the guys are young.
Dexter Lawrence, you know who that is?
I have no idea.
No idea.
They're up and coming, but at the same time, like, they need talent. And I think the best way for them to do that is to build through the draft for the most part.
Draft. Maybe sign a free agent or two. Build in through the draft, because they're gonna. If they finish 3-13, right? I think they'll win 5 games. But if they do finish 3, 4, 5 games, they'll get a good pick.
Yeah, like I said,
they'll get a top 10 pick.
This mock draft here has them at 6.
All right.
So, maybe if they could trade up to 4. There's a defensive end projected to sit there, Chase Young out of Ohio State.
Who's projected to go 1?
Tua Tagovailoa to the Miami Dolphins. But, again, Giants don't need a quarterback. Maybe you think about taking an offensive lineman. And it's all up to the Giants. It depends on if they're truly in love with that player. But, fact of the matter is, at number 6, 100% they have to go defense. Has to be defense. No matter what the position, whether it's a lineman, a linebacker, corner, or a safety, like they have, projected, they got to go defense. And,
I concur, Mr. Thompson. I concur.
You know what? And that's pretty much all there is to say about it. Giants have the pieces on the offensive side of the ball, especially with Saquon Barkley.
Get him another receiver, somebody.
They could use another receiver.
Alongside Golden Tate.
Alongside a Golden Tate. Or Sterling Shepard is even a good, 2-guy slot receiver.
He's got to stay on the field.
But they need a lot of help on defense. And that's pretty much all you have to say. See where they go. It's a long season. Draft is a long way off.
Currently at 2-6.
It's going to be a tough one unless their defense can actually try and step up and get some stops. They got a game coming up against Dallas Monday night. I don't necessarily think that's going to be pretty because Dallas is coming off the bye week. They're getting healthy. They just picked up Michael Bennett. They're going to have DeMarcus Lawrence.
They're coming
Robert
at full
Quinn.
strength. They're coming at full strength.
Oh, I might feel bad for Daniel Jones if that offensive line doesn't play well.
He's going to get killed. Him and Sam Darnold are going to get killed.
Well, that's it for this week. We'll see you all. We'll see. Probably next week, maybe a week after. It's getting close to Thanksgiving.
Let's go Mets.
Well, yeah, we'll see where the Mets go with their managerial pick. But
they make me sick.
I'm Ryan Thompson.
Joe Sapienza.
Joe Sapienza. This has been the Sports Dream. Where should we go next? We talked about the Mets. We talked about the Giants.
We can go Yankees.
Yeah, go with the Yankees.
We can make fun of them for a bit.
Well, they're definitely going to have a lot of decisions coming this offseason. So, all right. Next episode coming up, New York Yankees. Might be another one we should break into 2 parts maybe because baseball's got,
pitching and offense.
Yeah, baseball's got a lot. So New York Yankees part 1 next time. See y'all later.